I think we're live. 1 second, I'm gonna refresh.
Okay.
Yeah, we're live. I'm gonna switch to your screen, and I guess.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Musical Chairs weekly stream. As always, before we jump into things, I will be showing the sponsor of today's stream a little bit. It's a CoinMarketMan. It's a automated journaling tool. How it works is if you are going to make a new Bybit account with the link in the description, and you will just link it to the Coin Market Manager, you will get a completely free access to all the tools they offer. Otherwise you would be paying monthly fee on that. But there is really a bunch of journals. Like I said, it pulls all your trading data. You can add the screenshots to all your trades, and get quite well and nicely organized, and see most importantly things that work and that don't work as well. So we might, if you are guys interested, we might have some more in-depth section about how you can use the CoinMarketMan. I know Runner is heavily using it, so he might share some of his kind of insight on the platform. But yeah, this is
Should
for
I?
our. Yeah, you
I
can
guess
even if.
very quick plug. Because what is good about like platform like CMM is that like I get that people are very skeptical, because obviously you connect through API keys, which we had quite a lot of hacks and shit in crypto. But with a lot of these platforms, not only CMM, you basically only give them read-only APIs. So even if they get compromised or whatnot, you're not in risk of opening like 100x leverage and getting liquidated against like whoever hacked you. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a useful tool because you can easily see basically what type of setups work well for you or what not. Personally, help me. Obviously, you have to take whatever I'm saying with a pinch of salt because obviously they're helping us, helping the show. But since it's free, that's why I personally don't mind shilling free stuff because you can try it, and if you like it, you'll use it. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's not like pay me $200 and then you'll see. So yeah, I guess
At the end of the
good.
day, like journaling is super important. Obviously you don't have to use CMM, but you should have some sort of journaling software, or even Excel sheet or whatever you're gonna use. Journal your trades to see where you are making mistakes, and so on and so forth. So let's get into today's stream. I think we are once again going to be talking about a little more about altcoins rather than getting stuck on BTC, since it's at a very similar price for last 3 weeks. I personally still think it looks somewhat decent. Last week we had the ETF not decline but postponed, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yep.
But there are still kind of signs from the upside. I was kind of playing some longs. I was round tripping a little bit, then taking a profit. I was trading both actually BTC and ETH quite a bit, since it's a little surprising if you're gonna take a look at the price action itself. But yeah, buying these kind of a long wicks, these kind of false breakouts has been paying quite well last few weeks. And today, it's Monday. Obviously, we had one of these situations once again. Last night, we had this kind of false rally into the CME Open. We sold off from there, but there was a quite a decent amount of liquidations. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I'm thinking I'm not. Yeah, there's a decent amount of kind of a liquidations here. Nice dump in the open interest, and it got bought back fairly quickly, and especially showing some signs of strength today with this kind of US Open push, with even leading a little ahead of ES today. So what I will be looking at for BTC, I still think personally, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere on like a weekly time frame. On a weekly, I would be really interested more into this like 27K area. But from the daily perspective, if we would still keep things fairly simple, If this is kind of a level of support, we traded under that, still kind of reclaiming it. We had these long wicks, and today we are most likely going to close, if this is not going to dump completely, as this kind of a engulfing candle, taking the prior day low, closing above the high, as long as we close above 29.5. With this kind of a flush in the OI, the liquidation candle. So I would say that as long as this low right here holds, and you have this kind of a level of SR traded under that, reclaimed, then I would be probably looking for something like this on BTC. At least, once again, not holding trades for super long, but these highs, and we have also these kind of flat highs at the other side of this kind of a bigger consolidation. So this would be for me simple for Bitcoin. I don't really still, and I know I keep mentioning this basically every week, but I still don't see a good risk to reward trade for shorts. Not that I try to be, perma bullish.
Okay, Bultard.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, very simple. The way I trade, that I really like to kind of, when I buy or sell anything, I want to see these kind of like long wicks that kind of trade under or above, the prior kind of clean levels, something like the top we had here. But since these are very flat highs here, then I'm not really, because realistically, if I would just short here, I still think this is quite a bit of possibility for BTC, and obviously there's like a huge kind of a level to sit into the drawdown. So yeah, I'm still kind of prioritizing longs at the moment, although BTC and ETH hasn't been anything amazing to trade, but it is what it is, I guess. It's low volatility, it's summer. People are just kind of waiting for the ETF and everything. So simple plan here for BTC, ETH. Kind of a similar thing. I took a long. I think it was Monday last week. We were not streaming, but as we had this kind of a flush under these lows, high volumes. Very simple trade for me. I bet if I would just look at the order flow as well, there would be decent amount of kind of a. These were actually shorts coming in, which I feel like it makes the setup even better. Like we have liquidations, but most this move to the downside was from new shorts trying to force the breakout. From my experience, these trades are a little bit better than when you have that flush in the OI. So I was buying this last week on ETH. It rallied a bit. I closed the trade around 1870. I even tweeted about it, so I'm not making things up completely. But
100R, thanks for playing.
Yeah, thanks for playing. But yeah, I closed the trade here because I felt like my target was these super flat highs. Right here, once again, like very kind of a spot to get traded through, but we were pushing within this candle, started to sell off, and I basically, this is, you can see down here, it's 11 p.m. my time, so I felt like I'd just cover it here, then try to kind of squeeze one more hour from the trade. So I just covered the trade, and basically nothing much happened since then. But I still am, same as with BTC, I'm still not really bearish here, because there is this kind of and it's even cleaner on ETH, this type of kind of descending structure with no prior daily high basically taken from whatever long. So I would love to see this go first before getting in the shorts. I think if I would be, a little more kind of patient, my long that I took from here would be still valid. We didn't really break under anything. We had this kind of failure yesterday. If we would kind of reclaim these highs, then I could say that, this low, which took the load on the left, this is kind of it. This is my invalidation for the trade, and I would basically trade something like this. On ETH, if this starts to break down, then, most likely we're going to go for the new lows, and then I think I will start to kind of, and same for the BTC, if BTC would kind of fail here on the retest, if you manage to get there and start to break down, then I would most likely target for the lower prices. So yeah, so yeah, subtitles are not available. And if we were at 30.5, yeah, I would definitely look to short this. Like if we would make, you know, very similar, basically above these highs right here, similar structure than we have here. You know, this kind of a very sharp sell-off on higher volumes, on the liquidations. Then I feel like this would be a very good trade. But yeah, I'm kind of taking it from just one step away. You know, it's very hard to kind of just predict all of this ahead. So I'm not really getting too ahead of myself. You know, we are still trading like $1,000 under that, which in current volatility is quite a quite a distance still. You know, if you're gonna take a look at the options data, you know, the volatility is still it spiked a little bit today, but it's still kind of dying.
I mean,
So
CT
yeah.
would call this accumulation.
Yeah, sure. But you know, and I saw a lot of people trying to long vol, but it's just not getting what they want. So I would still kind of wait here until things pick up. So now, you know, in the current market conditions, $1,000 move in BTC is quite a distance. So yeah, if we would trade to 30.4, then I would look for shorts there, but we're not there. So yeah, I think these are my quick thoughts for BTC and ETH. Like I said, it's not anything super interesting. I think we have some decent events for this week when it comes to altcoins that we might find more entertaining.
So I guess it's time for me to take over.
Yeah, sure.
1 second. So for me, I want to quickly cover BTC as well, because obviously, as Adam said, and I guess it feels like we're repeating it for months now, like Bitcoin doing nothing with volatility being record low and whatnot. Personally, as a narrative trader, I might be biased because that's what I do. So like if you ask a soccer player, they'll always think about soccer. Damn, that's a shitty metaphor, but what I'm trying to say, I don't think BTC makes any type of big move before the ETF thing. A few days ago, I believe it was Thursday, so now it's like, or Friday. I don't think it really matters. Like a few days ago, we had the delay with ARC, and the next date, if I'm not mistaken, is like end of August. It's actually early September, but there is a weekend. So I can see BTC just chopping around basically this price action we've seen last few weeks. So it's kind of boring. I guess most of the action would be with altcoin side of things. Even though we keep repeating it, I'm happy to repeat it very quickly again. In terms of the ETF thing, or like if you want to look for proxies, how you can evaluate if it's related to BTC spot ETF, I like to look at Bitcoin, ETH BTC, Bitcoin dominance, and then you could look at stuff like GBTC premium and Coinbase stock and MicroStrategy stock. Potentially, I don't know. I'm not ETF expert. I'm not gonna pretend I'm one. I highly recommend Eric Balchunas. I'm pretty sure I fucked up the name, but the guy from Bloomberg, he's like the ETF bro. So if you wanna, in simple English, get an explanation in real time, follow him on Twitter, turn on the notifications. I think it's like plus EV, as people on CT like to call it, to follow him for the coming days and weeks. So yeah, that's like in summary 2 more weeks of potentially nothing, unless we have like Binance DOJ, which I think is a bit of cope at this point. And yeah, that's from Bitcoin side of things. Our very quick 30-second intro into macro LARPing. I believe there's no macro news, no macro earnings, no nothing, no events.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the earning side of things, which because it's something that I never really paid attention to. I don't think there was like one situation when there were Amazon earnings at the time that Bitcoin pumped it in like 2021, and ever since, you know, everyone talks about earnings. I don't really look at that, but in like a boomer side of things, there is really nothing this week. There are some red news, but the core retail sales, it's a fairly minor news, and the unemployment claims as well. So there might be a little bit of volatility around on Thursday and tomorrow, but nothing insane. And the FOMC meeting minutes, it's not a real FOMC, although I saw like 3 tweets today of people talking about we have a FOMC meeting this week, but this is not the kind of a the FOMC want to pay attention to. So this is also a nothing basically.
Yeah, I guess we can slowly move into the most exciting stuff, altcoins. No, I think like I just came back from holiday, but I think like creme de la creme of last few weeks been a lot of these very weird, obscure altcoins, which we're not gonna cover. We're just gonna like quickly give it, I guess, acknowledge that it happened and that it exists. Your stuff like YGG, what was it, LifePeer, and several other weird coins with smaller market caps where you would have open interest like 10x of the market cap, very clearly like cornered / manipulated price action with a lot of like basis spreads between holy fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah, basically these things were kind of popular. I always kind of stay away from these things. The coins basically that do like 1000x open interest and volume within like 12 hours. But yeah, I know it's been quite a discussed trade still. But I haven't traded this at all.
Yeah, I guess my not recommendation, obviously not financial advice, and I'm not sure if you're in a position to be giving, like, just my personal thoughts are, I don't really see that many people have edge trading these coins with smaller market caps, especially on the short side. I guess because I'm kind of known to be the guy who shorts everything, even in a bull run. No, that's a joke. But like, I don't know. It's like if you look at coin like this, can you do spot price for this?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think
Jesus.
for things like these, although they look, quite insane in hindsight, obviously, you have this like huge bump, and then you have like both of these moves, this basically went 520% up, and then it's now 70% down from the highs. But realistically, like you are not getting this anywhere near the bottom. It's one of those kind of a left curve trades where if you want to be on the long side, you just want to kind of pray for God and just kind of jump in, because realistically that's the only way to get in into already kind of pump thing. And on the short side, like the way that these things kind of blow off so much, like in my opinion, of course, like you cannot disagree with me, but if you are not shorting, like at least I would say even like higher, like basically in like top like 10 to 20% inside this like upper wick, then this is like a very shitty risk to reward trade to begin with. So because this basically essentially just dies, and like if I would get short somewhere in here, my stop is 50% to the upside, and I would be basically sitting at like 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade.
So you don't understand. The point is not to use stop loss and just martingale until you're right.
Yeah.
No, sure. That's a joke. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, it's one of those like these kind of Twitter coins that everyone talks about for a day or two, and they do something very similar to this. I always kind of stay away, because same for like shorting here. Kind of buying here is like the same situation. Based on how volatile these things are, it very easily could do something like this first. So I would be sitting at that point in like 40% drawdown from where I bought. So yeah, it's always looks nice. Obviously, if you are going to like day trade and trade this on 5-minute, 1-minute chart, and you can get some tight stop, buying here with like taking a risk, then it makes sense. But
I guess I would like to add that very often I feel like from observation in the groups and also in CT, it more feels like people who actually day trade these coins, it's more about like being bored and getting the rush of holy shit, this shit is moving, it's so volatile, wow, moves both ways. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think like the moment you kind of develop some sort of system or edge, or at least you think like you have edge, I think
it's like it's a very low time frame type of thing. I feel like I cannot go much further here, but on like 1-minute time frame, there is a decent amount of volatility. People that obviously trade like both ways of the trade. You can, you have like these bigger rotations. It doesn't show much data now, but at the time when it was moving, but also, to not only kind of sugarcoat this and say how awesome these things are for day trading. If you're gonna get like imagine, thinking like this is the top or this is the top, and you're just gonna go short, and you are getting completely blown off by like 30% move to the upside. So it's definitely one of those kind of a riskier type of things you can do.
Or it's like one of those, you open $10 and you eventually catch a top and you post it on Twitter for a few likes.
Yeah.
With 125 x leverage. Just, I don't know, I guess I would close this topic of these quote-unquote cartel coins, or, did you hear about DWF Labs?
Yeah. I was very loosely following the whole situation and how this kind of happened. Like I said, it's like when I feel like when these moves are so kind of orchestrated by other people in like a very clear way, like you have no edge there to begin with, basically.
Exactly.
Because you are always late to either upside or the downside. So
It's
I
like
always
literally
kind of
a coin
stay
flip,
out.
right? Like if these people
Yeah.
or group or whatever, we can go full tinfoil hat, but like if they decide to do something, you're not in control, and you better
Yeah.
pray for your market stop losses to actually not slip you like a
Yeah.
motherfucker. And I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just
And
not worth it.
It's always the coins that look like this, like 2 years from now, the chart will be basically just completely dead, and no one will remember this kind of a 1 week of fame where everyone was talking about it, and from here it will most likely just drift.
Wait, are you telling me there's going to be 3-year accumulation for guild games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess let's move on to something more serious, which I guess if people follow me on Twitter, Shibarium.
The thing is, it's the meme coins, so that's
No.
serious topic for
Wait.
this week.
Let me stop you, sir. Like, you've been trading way longer than me, but you're disrespecting the future of layer 2s. The new utility. No, let's stop fucking
Which
around.
is
Shibarium.
this thing. Okay.
Shibarium, apparently, at least. So I guess I can start my TED talk. Shiba, right? Everybody knows what it is. There were speculations and like rumors and talks about them launching their own layer 2 because before layer 2s were even a thing, like Matics, Arbitrums, and Optimisms. So it was supposed to launch many times, delayed, developers died, delayed, whatever, delayed. So it's like it's actually pretty fun. You can see it in the chart if you zoom out a little bit. I believe beginning of the year, the pump. Yeah, I traded Bone specifically, but a lot of these were basically like expectations of expectations, and the team never managed to really materialize or like deliver. And this price action basically last month or something or two is basically again Shibarium, but this time is different.
Yeah. So there is a event in Canada.
Toronto, yes sir.
Okay, which is on
15th and 16th. I guess I could put my chart for a second.
Yeah, sure. I think it's gonna be better for this.
It's basically like what I do with these events. There's a conference. I'm not gonna open a browser because there's gonna be some porn or something. What I would do is like I would put vertical lines. Are these vertical or horizontal? I don't know. So like I would make like a box when the event is taking place. And yeah, basically whenever price goes here, I'm gonna be looking out for news on Twitter, 3 of Alpha DB, whatever is your preferred channel of communication or getting your news, and we'll see what happens. But ultimately, personal thought, I mean, I've been spamming this trade idea for weeks now, or days, time flies, sorry, is that eventually on higher time frames, this is gonna look exactly like previous pumps, right? So we're gonna get, hopefully, a blow off top, and then just 2 weeks of slow bleed. Targets or whatnot, I don't know. But actually one thing I want to show, this is probably I think the single most autistic thing in my system, is I would go to Velo or Coinalyze, whatever you like, and I would do technical analysis on open interest, which is, I mean, it's peak retardation. But if you look at these, I mean, it's quite obvious, but I'm gonna mark it anyways. So you have the peak here. It's basically like a triple top, right? Like from technical analysis, SR horizontal, it will be your resistance. So if you then look at the price at these points, it was always these tops as well. So I'm not saying this is the top. I'm just saying if it is, it's going to be very obvious in hindsight.
Yeah,
I think
but
it's
ideally, like you really would like to see that kind of a final pump into the event itself, and then kind of selling down basically.
like yes and no, because I think big issue with this specific trade or event is that Shiba has been actually one of the strongest altcoins last, let's say, 4 to 5 weeks. It went up like whatever, let's say 50%, and same on Bitcoin pair. And even looking at like order flow, it's been basically very strong coin, right?
Yeah,
So even if they announce, so like when you have a catalyst with specific date, if you're like bullish, you want people not to know if that type of if that sentence makes sense. So you kind of want to be kind of low key. You don't want everybody talking about it, because the moment they actually deliver slash drop something, there's a big like likelihood that it's kind of priced in, or I mean people are up 50% and like 3x on bone, which is
yeah,
do you know what is a bone?
yeah. It's a
I'm switching to a screen.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a gas token for Shiba layer 2.
Yeah.
Which
No, like you're right. Like the open interest itself, it's up like 150% in the last 10 days basically. The CVD on spot is also kind of going up. So yeah, this definitely could be the thing. This traded kind of weirdly, like the last week basically we had this quick push, then it sold off, made a new highs again. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a kind of trade to watch, and if basically this was the high really, then coming like 2 days from now, this should be trading somewhere under that previous level. You would be just kind of finding the trades there basically. I just like personally, I would like to see just this kind of a one last blow off and then sell it from there. Because obviously you get like a tighter invalidation on the trade.
Oh, no invalidation, martingale. It's a joke.
Yeah.
No, but what is
So
interesting, maybe
yeah.
just last thing on dog tokens, is when Shiba started performing well, it's actually at the same time when Doge Elon X thing was happened, which is pretty funny because if you do like a pair trade or like your Doge against Shiba, it's like underperformed big time, which is pretty
Yeah,
funny.
I think the Twitter thing was like here, so it was like 1 or 2
Yeah.
weeks earlier. But yeah, Doge is doing nothing. The Pepe is actually kind of going up a little bit. Um, but yeah, I guess people just kind of try to bid the meme coins for the ship event.
Yeah, I personally think it's like a basket thing. Remember in
Yeah.
January when AI coins moved, so they would all move together. And also, I've seen again some delusional community members and future bag holders say that there's a Coinbase listing coming for Pepe. So surely exchange with like regulatory oversight and shit to deal with ETFs and suing SEC is listing like Pepe 4 months later. But sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think this is really going to be kind of a clear at the event. Some other things for this week. I was looking at the DYDX. They should have something today. Actually, like they should be launching a testnet. In I feel like very soon, ish, aka somewhere around now. There's decent amount of open interest for
Is
me
that
to
in
look in.
tokens or in US dollars?
This should be in the US dollars. Yeah. It's 50 million open interest, so it's in this kind of a lower range of things that I would trade, but still decent, especially considering how chart looks. But I was hoping to see this traded to at least like $2.3. It's not really going there. I know someone on Twitter commented on this that basically they like postponed it 2 times, so it's not really like a huge news. But yeah, I was just kind of looking for that kind of scam pump and then sell off, because the way that this, even you can see this on the 12-hour chart, but this basically got like T-webbed in the last few days. On this H4 chart, this is very kind of clear. That kind of price action that just kind of grinds down without any kind of push lower. So these moves very often get kind of erased in the hole. So this was for me pretty interesting to trade, but yeah, I kind of wanted to see this trade higher. So yeah, that's not really. I don't know if this would be the thing that I would trade. And I was also looking at Sand, which is even like a lower open interest. They were like a large unlock
Yeah.
today. Yeah, today. Um, I wasn't. I was actually hoping that this would kind of squeeze into to the upside. You know, because I feel like, and I know you talked about this previously, like the obvious edge kind of a vanishing from these unlock trades. You know, I remember this as well. Like 2 years ago, everyone was basically just shorting unlocks.
I mean, when you go on, and respectfully, hopefully nobody gets offended, but if you go to like the most normie group chat you can find, which in my opinion is Telegram group of Luke on Chain, where there's like 5-figure, like 20, 30,000 people basically discussing trades. And when the entire group anonymously agrees that it's a good short, and then they ask what is the difference between limit and market order, I mean, that's everything I need to know about the trade.
Yeah,
I'm half
so
joking, but it is like that, honestly.
yeah, but so for me that felt like a kind of a cool opportunity to take the other side, because obviously like this is around like 15 million dollars in short. This once again is nothing huge. It's fairly a small coin. But yeah, I felt like this could be a nice long, but it just didn't show anything. I was kind of hoping to see that one big up candle that would start to scare everyone, and then just kind of bidding into that and just quickly take through all of this. But it didn't really happen. So I kind of skipped this one as well today. So it's not really much going on for me, at least.
Yeah, but I guess it's part of the thing, right? Like if you remember January, February, you're just like sort of getting into altcoin, the order flow trading.
Yeah.
So you go to restroom and you feel like you're missing trades. And now it's the exact opposite, right? You have, let's say, 1 or 2 decent setups, which obviously you might miss, but like I guess it's important for us to even talk about, and you know it more than me and like experienced traders, that there's just periods of times or like
definitely.
when you just need to sit on your hands, and it's unfortunate, but I personally big believer in a statement of that not losing money is also great, because what's the point of
Ape is having also unlocks this week, I think. But it's quite a different looking chart. I think this coin got just so shit on in the last several months. Then even coming into the unlocks, this chart is just gonna deserve a little bit of a relief. This looks terrible. So that might be an interesting to trade for this week. But I think the best kind of thing that most people should do is just focus on a ship trade.
Thanks. Now with our 50 people watching, it's gonna be a crowded trade.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna lose money. My $10.
Okay, so someone wants to look at 1 inch and mana. It's I feel like that we kind of keep repeating this every week, but this isn't even here. Like I don't really pay attention to coins that have like nothing going on for them. Like I believe that in 1 inch, 1 inch is here. Like like there is nothing too interesting from the like order flow perspective, but also like what makes, like, let's say this would be like 1 inch chart would be like I don't know, like negative funding a little bit, open interest kind of rising, whatever. Like what would kind of differentiate that from, let's say, every like next 10 coins which had like similar order flow and similar price action, and why would you buy that one instead of other 9, basically? Like I feel like you are really doing the best if you trade some of these things that have any kind of like quote unquote fundamentals around them.
It's basically you want to trade or look at stuff that's actually moving. Like this range that Adam can see in his screen is like what, 2 to 3%. And
Yeah.
of course I'm biased because I'm trading Shiba blah blah, but the stuff moves actually 10% intraday. So if you, doesn't matter what type of like, how to say, like how you trade, it's like you need volatility to trade. You cannot trade a stable coin. I mean you could, but good luck, right? You're gonna be losing your shit.
ASTR. This is the Japanese thing we talked about, right? Like
Yeah, Japanese coin.
Yeah, my new favorite coin.
That's actually looking pretty interesting. So kudos
Yeah,
to
it
Abe.
has biggest update of the year coming September 13th. So you have basically like a month of hoping this will go up and then sell off back to zero.
Cheers, I'll be taking that trade for sure.
No, but this
It's really strong. I like the chart actually.
yeah, like what? There's not much to say. Like from like
Coming
a
into
TA.
resistance.
Yeah, from like a simple TA perspective, we are testing this kind of prior consolidation, but a lot of this buying kind of coming in. You can see this even on the daily chart. You have this kind of a section in here, which is this kind of a initial push. I believe this is only coming from this is coming from Binance. Since this is like a Japanese coin, there will be a lot of volume coming from like some of the Japanese exchanges or maybe something along these lines that we cannot see.
Maybe. I mean, if you want, 1 second, I'll switch to my screen.
Yeah,
for
you
a
can
minute.
switch to your screen and
I have it. No, Astar, like for me, the Asia proxy exchange, I'm switching back to yours, is Upbit, Korean exchange, which does not have Astar on it. So
Okay. Well, look like the change in the open interest is looking massive. In the dollar value, it's around $10 million, so it's not that
Oh, boy.
massive. So
Like-
I would say that this is still like very kind of a low volume, low open interest. Currently there's like 11 million OI opened on this. And I said this many times, and I know Runner is the same. I completely stay away from coins that at least don't have like 50 million in the open interest. So this looks decent if this has news, so it might have some sort of Lex 3 upside, but at the same time, it's at the resistance. So if you are not long from lower, I wouldn't be opening new longs here, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I just said that I like the chart, but when you look at the bottom, we see from like June, what was open interest there, like 3 million.
Yeah,
It's like it's wow. That's like literally one person or entity. Let's say, I'm not gonna drop names, not to share misinformation or like conspiracy, but like literally one entity with bunch of money can corner this pretty easy.
Yeah.
And
And
like
this is not like filtering the trades based on volume and open interest is not something like like only because you have like a huge account and you trade with like a bigger size. It's really because of like you can manipulate this chart very easily, and you don't even need that much of a money for it. Like if I would buy, like 1 million of this coin, which wouldn't on, I would need what? I would need 10k on 100x leverage, which I can do on the perps. I would start kind of paint all over this thing basically, and people would start panicking. So these markets are just very easy to manipulate, and this is why I personally stay away from them.
can you check market cap of this thing? Just
Sure. Let me switch to. Um,
1 sec, I can check on other computer.
I have it here. It has 270 million market cap, and it has 16 million in a daily volume. That's really low.
Shit.
Yeah. Personally, volume-wise, coins above 100 millions in volume are really the ones that I trade. This is really low in my opinion.
Yeah, same. I guess we're getting pretty old. It's just like I only trade top 10 market cap coins.
Let's trade it. Yeah, on Binance Upbit, there is a BTC pair on Upbit, but the volumes are a little low on both of them. Okay, so anyone has any other coins or any kind of a narratives, fundamentals, or basically whatever you are looking at this week? No one wants to share what they are trading.
I mean, I guess a lot of the fun is on chain, which is we're too old for that shit.
Yeah, I still haven't even bridged to base. I still haven't, traded anything on ETH, so
I mean, do you feel like you're missing out?
I feel like a chance of like because I'm not really active in any kind of like smaller groups or anything where I would get this kind of a front running edge. So I feel like if like from like a perspective of a person that doesn't talk to anyone and you just kind of on your own on the Twitter and you're just gonna go on chain, there is like a 95% I would say chance that you'd get completely racked. So I feel like you can make a lot of money, but it takes like a lot of time to like go through everything and with every kind of a newly deployed token go through like a history of the address and the team and everything. It's a lot of work actually. I feel like to be profitable on chain.
Or you just become friends with the right people?
Yeah, or you are friends with the right people, which I'm unfortunately not. No one is DMing me about next 1000x's, so I would have to actually put in the work, and I'm too lazy to do that. So,
Adam, I'm sorry to announce, but you're not gonna make it.
to be fair, like my only profitable trade, I had like one like 15x trade on chain was based on. I'm not going to say like insider information. It wasn't like a meme token that got
Yo,
racked.
FBI, FBI.
Yeah, but it was like a new project that I got the information that it's gonna do well, and it did well at the time, and it's still kind of thing that exists after 2.5 years. But like my edge there was because I was just talking to someone who mentioned this to me. So yeah, that's that's how I always kind of view these things. If you just don't want to, just get racked 50 times in a row and then hit the next, 500x coin basically. So yeah.
I guess that's what I kind of like about the type of trading we do. I guess even though we use different time frames, I would say it's becoming more and more similar because obviously Runner is becoming Alibaba version of Atom, but with altcoins. But just like we discussed with the smaller open interest coins and smaller market caps, they can get cornered, right? So there's basically big risk factor of somebody just fucking you over. It doesn't matter how good your system is. With on-chain, maybe there's ways to have edge, but as you said, like if you're alone, probably not. So it's one of those things like when trading, for example, Litecoin, we discussed XRP, Bitcoin Cash. I have a guarantee that nobody's gonna fucking fuck me over in XRP short, which is a 40 billion market cap. You know what I mean? Like I feel more confident. Thus, and people say, yeah, but these things don't move that much. Yeah, sure, but if you go, let's say YGG, you would open, I don't know, $10,000 trade. On XRP, you can do 1 million. It's like the same. It's just like comparison, just to give like some rough numbers. Yeah.
There is definitely this kind of another factor on chain that people are generally greedy. Most people, go on chain to scam other people, especially. And I believe there are like plenty of like legitimate projects, but people still gravitate towards the meme coins anyway. So, like you just basically making things harder for yourself, to kind of easiest way to put it. I also feel like there is like, and I might be completely wrong on this, but the interface on trading on chain is much more kind of a not so well made compared to like centralized exchange. When I'm in a trade on, let's say, BTC or XRP or whatever, I don't like a trade, I can just exit the trade with like one click. On chain, obviously you need to wait for confirmations. It's you don't have I don't I maybe I saw some website that like allows you to place like limit orders and stuff like that, but it's still not in this kind of a very user friendly type of thing compared to trading on centralized exchange or
and like
trading basically.
with on-chain, there's this thing, like probably people who trade on-chain are watching this and are literally laughing at us.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like you can get front run. There's like MEV and whatnot.
Two cringe people that never traded anything on chain are just saying why you shouldn't do that. That's it's like
I'm
I'm
up
literally like
13%. year to date, and this guy's like 11,000% this week, laughing at me
Yeah,
from his yacht in
yeah.
Bahamas or whatnot. Like,
I
look
always
at
like shit on people that like talk about things they don't understand, and this is exactly what we are doing right now. So yeah, definitely, if you are trading on chain, like you have all rights to just laugh at us.
No, I hope like if there's actually somebody watching like regularly, I hope they got the memo that we trade on centralized exchanges. Obviously, like I believe we need to also talk a lot about like risk management and like, maybe learning first, because before putting any type of money, especially leveraged, like kind of like in like let's say centralized exchange trading, altcoins, whatever, narratives or whatever, and we can like slowly build up the people instead of being like, go buy friends tech shares of musical chairs, like, because that's not what we do.
Yeah.
And if you ever see us talk about that shit, we're probably down bad. Like if Adam
Yeah.
shows you some NFT project, he's either hacked or fucking liquidated.
I once I it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I There was like some NFT project that I really liked, and I liked it like from like how it looked, and I just shared it on Twitter saying like it's looking nice, and I just got completely shit on, and I had like no, I don't think I even owned the NFT or got paid or anything. I just like this was like one and the last time I mentioned anything outside of just like a posting chart where people shit on me anyway. So so yeah.
You're sponsored by TradingView. Fucking LARP.
Damn.
Yeah, I guess like
Yes.
one of the things to play this is, I know this is not related, but like recommend stuff that you actually use. That's a cliche because everybody could be paid without disclosing. But like if the tool is free, that's what I like, because people can try it, and maybe they will like, agree with what we say and find value in it or not. And like, it just cost you time. And I guess in markets or anything you do, if you want to get better and whatnot, you need to invest your time anyways. So it's like, it's part of the journey. Fucking hell, I'm
Yeah.
talking into motivational speaker today, but just like you have to like, it's same with trading, right? Like for me, order flow, I mean, I've said it many times, I first interacted with order flow in summer 21 when I actually was spamming Adam asking for a discount for his course. But like I would look for it at it for like a year, and I still didn't understand shit, and then just something kind of clicked. It's part of the process, it just takes time. You cannot expect to get good. And maybe just to close this topic a little bit is, I think what we do is, what I like about it is like we kind of stick true to what we actually do, meaning like we trade altcoins, or like, sorry, not you, but, or now too, but like there's this one thing that I do. I do this. I don't trade NFTs. I don't do options. I don't do TradFi. I'm not a macro analyst. So like you cannot be everything at the same time. We're just human beings. So like I would just suggest people watching, try to get good at one thing only.
Yeah. I think
Because,
like
yeah.
for me, like you can see this on this right side of the screen. There's like 15 markets here, which I trade like every week, and I like don't care about most of the new things, all the kind of meta, what is popular now. I just trade these markets for quite a few years now, and it's just this one thing that I do all in repeat, and it works. So I'm not really changing the things now. Obviously, I trade a little bit of altcoins, but like I said, only those that have I know that I will be also trading ship this week because there is this event, but I'm not really going through every single coin. Just um try to kind of get into new things. Someone asked, what do you think about Rollbit? I'm interested about that.
Like my opinion or yours?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
look,
think
people.
to,
Oh, go ahead. You go first. You're more conservative.
okay, I will say this, that obviously the perp side of thing is I feel like it's quite scammy with how they how the perps work.
Dude, our
I
fucking
never
partnership is out of the window right now. Cheers, man.
I never gambled. I never, I don't bet on sports. I don't think I ever played slots actually in my life. So I'm not really interested in that as well. But I'm gonna kind of admit that I should have taken a little bit of that kind of my own pride and just buy the little bit of the token, because at the end of the day, like people will gamble so owning a little bit of the token was probably a good call back around, even in this consolidation, for example. But I would never trade on Rollbit, and since I don't gamble, I think that it's just not my thing. Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I remember watching some of the Tom Dante's video back from like 2015 when he was trading bonds, and he was talking about basically when you hear in the news there is a terrorist attack, the first thing you should do is buying bonds. So like you don't have to kind of ethically agree with everything, but from like a pure trade perspective, this was a very nice opportunity to just get long. I don't think I wouldn't be buying the token now, obviously, but yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on the Rollbit thing. And I got a little bit of tired to kind of talking about this on Twitter, and in general, I think this like nothing is going to change. Like I think just most people are just completely stupid with like the exchange side of things, and it's not only Rollbit, it's other exchanges. I'm not going to name every exchange that I think is shitty, but like people just don't care at the end of the day. They are very easily too influenced by the bigger accounts to actually read like the documentations and how stuff works. So it is what it is, basically.
I think there is a big difference, nice English there, between actually using the platform and taking the token trade. For the record, I never traded it because it's on chain. Whenever I go on chain, I feel scared and cry. Maybe now it's just on like shady exchanges. No thanks. Ethicality. My background is marketing in a business side of things. Before crypto, believe it or not, I had businesses. I think Rollbit, what they did really well. Maybe they intended it this way, maybe not. They had the best marketing campaign I've probably ever seen in crypto. When you consider how little money, of course they paid lots of influencers like endorsement money, but how many mentions? I know it's like kind of cringe, and especially us for Eastern Europeans and being our age, we don't fucking care about clout, but that's like what they got, right? Like last few months, like everybody talks about them. Positive, negative, it's still like word of mouth, right? So everybody, even like fund manager I work for is like knows Rollbit, and he doesn't have CT. Like he's not on Twitter. So from that side of things, that's a compliment. Like going 1000x leverage, come on, man. Like stupid. But yeah, the token was good, and I think it kind of confirms the idea. Oh my God, somebody will clip it, and this will not age well. But in crypto, there's always been saying that new tokens, like the new shiny stuff, will do well. And I think we see it this year with Rollbit, and we see it with the OPNX token, or whatever it's called, from Suzu. And yes, of course, you can be the truther and be like, no, the history 3AC. And I agree. I'm definitely not going to defend them. I'm just saying that
you cannot trade a token. It's OX, I think.
Open exchange. This one.
Oh, there's this one. I never. Oh, okay.
But I think I tried to go for DEX screener because it's been around for much longer. Point is, it's up a lot, right? So very, very. And I hope I really don't know if that's it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be it.
Look at the performance, right? So I'm not here to be like, should have bought, should have not. Like, if you compare it, like, just compare it to Solana. You know what I mean? Like, you have a lot of CT bull posting Solana for 2% move, and this thing casually did whatever 5-6x. I did not participate.
I genuinely think that like supporting this is worse than supporting Rollbit, because like 3AC, like on purpose, they like lied to creditors and all of this shit. Like people seem to like completely forgive them at the moment. They are the most popular people again on the Twitter with playing basically the victim card, but they did like so much shit which was completely illegal compared to like something like Rollbit, which I think it's like a product which is designed for people to lose. But like when I was talking about Rollbit on Twitter, I went to their website and I just kind of like all the data that I found, which when I pointed out like it's the dumbest thing to trade there with 1000x leverage because it's so skewed against you, it was on their website. I didn't have to go through like some hidden information and talk to insider people. It's just at the end of the day, like, people are just dumb, and they are dumb when they see influencers, betting and trading with 1,000x leverage, and they want to do it as well. They will end up losing most of the money. But like what 3AC did was essentially a scam in in a lot of ways they did, and people are still happy to kind of jump on the board again, basically.
I mean, it's quite literally fraud, right? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sure there was like wire fraud, like, yeah. I mean,
yeah. So,
but you know what I think it's what we can add. Maybe somebody watching will find this useful. This piece of lol alpha is that people on CT or like this industry believe, like, we can like it or not, and I'm sure like it applies to us as well. We're not fucking saints. Is that, like, let's say, this OX token, right, OpenX, if everybody has a bag and it goes 1000x and you become a millionaire, you fucking forgive Kyle and Sue. Even if they rugged you, it's like, it's very like biased and like echo chambery type of thing, which you need to keep in consideration, especially when reading. Even I mean, I'm pretty easy to read when I'm tweeting about my positioning. I don't need to say I'm short. It's pretty obvious I'm short, for example, right? So keep that in mind. Try to think contextually. Does this person try to sound neutral, or is it like biased towards certain? Because what I'm trying to say, doesn't matter what bad they did. If they can pump market again, people will love them again.
Yeah. It is what it is, I guess. Anyway, I feel like if someone doesn't have any questions, we will slowly going to end the stream.
Yeah. Let's give it 1 minute if somebody has any more questions. Yeah, it was a good stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will just quickly read through questions. Someone is asking about the Dalton TPO principles. I am not using these at all, and I never did actually. Like, people, since I was like one of the quote unquote first people on crypto Twitter that I started talking about the market profile, people always kind of assumed that I've been using it, but I never really did. I just used kind of the most basic stuff from the market profile. I never went too deep. I never really kind of felt that I need to. So yeah. Cool. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. And I guess we are going to see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys, and have a nice day.